Hello there.
Hello.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we're back on Changeling.
yeah,
And it's episode 7. So you just saying that this is the penultimate episode, we think.
yeah.
So there's still a lot of ground to cover in this. When we were just talking before you sort of started recording there, that is this going to get a second series? Do we reckon?
Don't know. It's
I
well
don't know.
done. I
It
mean,
is well done, and it's like there's only one episode left, so they're going to have to tie up a lot of those things, or they're going to leave it open for a second series.
yeah, it'll probably
Which,
end up in a cliffhanger, which is fair enough.
yeah,
But I hope they answer a few questions.
yeah,
Like,
because I mean it's still very confusing. But
yeah,
so this is episode 7, and this focuses on Apollo's mum, Lillian,
yeah,
who we talked in the previous sort of episodes that she's a really good character.
yeah.
Really like her. um, the most interesting character really out of all of them.
She
It's
is,
it's
yeah.
kind of she's got a little very sort of complicated, not complicated, difficult sort of life.
Mm,
And she's pretty much entirely on her own. But anyway, she's really cool. But we see this episode, and she's basically wandering the streets. She's trying to phone Apollo. And
it's
she's
been,
just not answering the phone
yeah,
because
it's been 3 days. She's
yeah,
worried.
he's
Yeah.
currently on the island with the fucking Karens.
Mm,
Um, so she's not getting any answers. So she's just wandering the streets, and she ends up at this hotel, which was a hotel for immigrants, or it used to be used for immigrants and stuff back in the day. And it's like a real shithole.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, it doesn't explain why she's going there. So you kind of think, oh, well, maybe she ended up in there when she first came to America or something. It doesn't super explain it. But
No.
she's like, I have to go to room 205.
Mm,
Um, so it's kind of like a sort of memory lane thing. So she books into this hotel, and we see these sort of flashbacks to sort of 1981, I think it says.
yeah.
And there's lots of flashbacks of her coming up to this door and seeing the smoke coming out of the door, And so I was quite confused at this point. I was like, is this where she used to live?
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think it is. But I
I
was
think
like, is
she was
this where you
going
used to live?
between because what I think they're trying to answer is when she left Apollo on a Saturday on his own, his dad started to turn up, and we didn't
Yeah.
really know what sort of happened because she said to him that she came home and told him to leave, sort of thing, and so this episode sort of answers that. So I think they were flashing between the door in the hotel and the door of their flat where
Yeah.
Apollo grew up.
That was my sort of take too, but it wasn't
Yeah.
particularly clear because it kind of
Mhm.
implied that this is where she used to live, but that's not the case. So you're still trying to figure out the significance of this hotel
Mhm.
all the way through it. But so she basically checks into this hotel, and she's flashing back, but she sees kind of is it Wheeler, the creepy guy who bought the book off Apollo.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Yeah, he's in there in a couple of scenes in that hotel where he's sort of like hiring a prostitute or something and sort of beating her up.
Oh,
And she looks through the keyhole, the pinhole door thing, and sees him out there talking to the manager or something as well. But it's hard to know whether that's now or in the past. But
I
it can't
don't.
really be in the past because he looked the same. So
Um,
I mean, it's a very kind of dreamlike episode.
yeah,
So there's a lot of truth, things that happened, and a lot of things that are like didn't happen, I think, and are interpretations. It's difficult to tell.
mm,
But we see a scene where Apollo, as a young kid, and his dad Brian has left the box of shit outside the door.
mm.
Not shit, not actual shit. Stuff is what I meant. Box of stuff. That would be a terrible thing to do to your son, wouldn't it? I haven't seen him for ages, and then you leave him a present, and it's
But
just
it is
some
a
shit.
horror.
Bastard. Thanks, Dad. But there's a load of junk in it, and there's a receipt. It's a receipt of a hotel, and he's like, "What's this?" She's like, "Where'd you get that sort of shit?" So, but it's this
Mm,
receipt that she was at this hotel. So you go, okay. fair enough. Why would you keep that anyway? Then we saw, yes, there's a lot of flashing back. So we see her in the hotel room, and she's got some stuff with her, and she basically got a bottle of whiskey or something, or is
Some
it wine? I don't know.
cigarettes.
Some cigarettes. She's smoking and drinking. I'm not quite sure why, to sort of like bring back the past, maybe.
Well, I think she sort of said, I made a promise here. So I was thinking, oh, maybe she made a deal with, some god or
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But yeah, so well, it sort of transpires it was a promise that she made to herself, wasn't it?
yeah.
So she's sort of going back. And it is weird. It's a weird episode because she's flashing back to when she was younger,
Mm,
and she sort of tells a story of what her husband was like. Because we sort of sort of speculated that he might, his dad was a bit weird,
mm.
but I thought he was going to be like supernatural and stuff, but it does actually sort of turn out that he was an abusive husband.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff about it, about him in this episode.
Mm.
It's also that's talking about her sort of survivor's guilt. That's probably the main thing about
Oh.
like her character. She's got this survivor's guilt for surviving this, leaving behind her family and her brother dying, being shot in such a horrible way, and everyone else is dead, I
Yeah, what
think.
else is she going to do, though? I mean,
Yeah,
it's either that or die, isn't it?
leaving for for America. So she's got a lot of this, survivor's guilt and stuff, which is all very understandable and common. She's also got like a crucifix because she
Mm.
seems like a rather God fearing sort of woman, but she's
Yeah,
proper like rejecting God. She's like because she even goes to pray at one point, and then she catches herself and goes, "No, no, no God of mine."
yeah,
But
yeah.
she throws her crucifix away and stuff. So she's probably pissed,
Mm.
sort of pissed off. Um, but there's things like she's looking in the mirror, and the mirror's sort of undulating, and we see like a weird shape, and this shape keeps popping up in the series, and
Mm.
we don't know what that is. It kind of looks like a hand. It kind of looks like a tree. You know,
Weird. Yeah.
we don't really know. But she's sort of thinking about Uganda and stuff, and she's thinking about the baby, and she's thinking about all the things that the baby wouldn't have, like memories of, um, like
Oh,
one member of her family making the donuts, sort of things.
yeah.
I can't remember what she called them, but some sort of Ugandan sort of sort of home cooked thing, and she's like, oh, she's amazing, and she's proper taking her back, and she's like, she regrets that he'll never have that.
Mm.
He'll never have that experience, and
She didn't know why she didn't make it for him, and why
yeah.
she got, it was all McDonald's, and
But
you
she
know
wanted to, yeah, she did say. I mean, this is why I like this episode a lot. I thought it was interesting. She wanted him to fit in, so she wanted him to grow up on American kind of. I
yeah.
mean, junk food. I mean, those donut things she was talking about. It sounds like they were kind of like a treat. It's not something you would particularly healthy.
No.
Maybe it was just so their equivalent.
Yeah.
Cultural equivalent of sort of hot dogs or the stuff you give to people to cheer them up,
Yeah.
which are not particularly good for you. But she wanted him to fit in America, so she put him on all this junk food. But yeah, she regrets it. Um,
There was a bit
she
when she
also
was dancing. There was some music, and
yeah
she was
well
really, yeah. It was. It
that
was.
whole sequence was weird because she's
Yeah.
got a sparkly dress with her, um, and she puts on this sparkly dress, and you're kind of like, what the fuck's that all about? And she's really sort of, I mean, this is one of those things they call Dark Night of the Soul. I think
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
reference that in the thing, but it's like it's quite a common sort of trope. It's when you just you have one of those awful nights you just question everything in your life.
Mm.
But she openly sort of talks about regretting sort of being a mother, like, and she sometimes just really feels like she just doesn't care about the baby, or she doesn't sort of love it in the way that she should and stuff. So there's all this regret, it's all
Mm.
guilt, and there is a
She's not
memory.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a memory pops up there where she looks almost exactly like Emma. She's got her longer hair. Who is that, Emma? and saying that is not our baby, and it's Brian standing next to her, the
Oh,
disappeared dad,
yeah.
and you're like, oh, that's weird. I don't remember it. But then I don't know if that was because she looked kind of different. It's weird. There's a lot of sort of like mixed up memories.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but there's a weird sequence where she kind of hears something down the corridor, and she goes to investigate in a sparkly dress. And at this point, you have no idea if it's happening or it's a memory. But she finds a guy in a bed covered in sores, and
Yeah, that's like a.
he's played by the guy who plays Brian. So you think, okay, that's fucking weird. Is this how they met? But it doesn't seem to be the case. And he's come there to die effectively in this
Mm,
shitty hotel. But
I think
he's
it's a
talk.
memory because
Mm,
AIDS was a big thing, wasn't it, in
mm,
the at the time, so the 80s. Um, so I don't know
is
why he was played by her husband, but um, or maybe he was diseased in some way. I don't know. It's really hard to pin it down, isn't it? But
yeah, because
she
yeah,
sort of is like his angel because he's on his own. He's gay,
he's gone
and
there to die because yeah, he's just
yeah,
sort of like. But he goes on about how he was sort of having an affair with this guy called Bill,
mm,
and they kind of seems like they kind of really liked each other. But Bill had a wife and family and stuff, and they'd made arrangements to go out and see some famous singer at the time called Lena Horne, who
yeah.
did
When they
it.
said Lena, I thought they were going to go with Lena Zapparoni.
Yeah, I think is that just like a UK thing? I don't know.
I
That's
don't know.
weirdly I thought that as well because I just remember that from when I was a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It
used
was
to be on
she's got a
fucking
funny name, and she's Zaffaroni. But
yeah,
yeah, it
but
was
like
Lena Horne. Yeah, yeah.
Lena Horne, yeah, and so she did like probably the most famous version of that song "Stormy Weather," which I don't know
Mm,
much about that song to be fair. But like so okay, right, we're definitely talking about a gay couple who are going to see a show with a sort of lounge singer, a talk singer, whatever they call them. But he never gets to go because Bill stands him up and
yeah.
presumably goes back to his wife. And he's like, it's his biggest regret. So he's basically come here to die,
Mm.
presumably of AIDS. So I'm like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he played by your husband? Because I thought at the beginning, okay, this is why. Okay, maybe Brian was gay, and it's a time back then when he had to keep it quiet, and he won. That's why he was pursuing her, so he could have a semblance of a normal life, so he could have
No,
a
I didn't even
wife
go down
and
that
get a
one.
kid because he's.
Yeah.
But that can't be. But he didn't die,
Well,
so
he
I don't.
kind of did, didn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't die of AIDS.
No,
Like when they
no.
first met, they had a kid and everything. So,
Well, maybe I
however,
don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. Is it a metaphor that he was diseased
yeah,
mentally?
I think
Maybe
so. I think
I
so.
don't know.
I mean, it's a stretch. I mean, it's
Yeah,
weird. I really liked that whole sequence. I thought it was really good, but it was confusing. But
yeah.
so he's basically telling her, like you said, she's like his angel. He's dying. He's literally just gone there to die. He's given the last of his money to just stay
Mm,
there and die. And he's got this regret about never getting to see Lena Horne. And so Lillian decides to sing, and of course she's got the sparkly dress on conveniently. So he
yeah.
starts having this sort of fantasy and she's singing the whole of Stormy Weather, and it's really well done. And there's her sort of like segueing between her now and her in the
In the
in her youth
past,
and
yeah.
stuff. And he's sort of lying there in this kind of idyllic sort of pool, and he's smiling, and then he
Yeah, it's
just
not a bad
dies.
way to go, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's really well done, but it's very strange
Mm,
because it kind of like, well, who the fuck is that? But so it's got to be sort of metaphorical, if you like, but you're not really quite sure. But
no.
I thought it was really, really good. But then we just like, she talks about how he was wounded by his mother, like his mother rejected him when he was a kid, and her dad was
Right.
worse. So like Brian was really fucked up, it seems, um, and she hated him sometimes and she loved him other times. But all of a sudden, there's all these fucking red flags, and
Yeah, he keeps sort of like low key threatening her, doesn't he?
yeah,
Yeah,
he flip.
no one will know if you're gone. No, there's no one's going to come for you. So
Yeah,
and this is where I think the phrase I will I've come for you, that's what she shouts when she goes to find Brian. And I think he said, I think Apollo, sorry, Brian Apollo, and then I think Apollo says it at some point as well. So it's
yeah.
like an important phrase. And yeah, I've forgotten what my point was now, but
Yeah,
it's
it's just all these sort of sort of
yeah,
red
he's
flags popping up.
bananas.
He's just sort of making little digs
Yeah,
at her, um, you know, not even little digs, and it starts to get more and more sort of aggressive. And I don't think we see him hit her or anything, but it's abusive, and I mean,
well, she's
she's
living in
kind of
fear.
stuck. She's kind of
Yeah,
stuck there.
and she's got that arsehole at work who wants to, have sex with her and stuff. It's just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, we see like a flashback of them at a picnic. And I think we might have seen a flashback of them at a picnic before, but like this time he's sort of being quite threatening,
yeah,
making little sort of diggy comments in a kind of jokey way, and she's like, "Well, I don't find that funny," sort of shit.
yeah,
Um, and then there's a flashback of them in their apartment, and he finds the receipt of the hotel. Right, so you're like, okay, right, so the hotel is a
yeah.
real thing, and
This
it did
bit
happen.
confused me. Yeah,
So he found a receipt that she's been to this hotel, and what was her reason for she said I don't know, she said I don't know anything about it, right?
right.
But and he's like threatening her and stuff like that because he's kind of like a bit screwed up. So but she doesn't explain why she has this receipt. She says she doesn't know anything about it. So at this point you're like, fucking hell, what's actually real and what's not?
Yeah,
But then we see a kind of a memory of Brian leaning over, drowning something, presumably Apollo, in the bath. But you
yeah.
don't see Apollo. I don't know if that was significant. It was weird. You just
Mm,
see him sort of like drowning something in the bath, and she hits him over the head. Dum,
yeah,
right? So it's like, okay, so she's killed him. He
yeah.
didn't. She didn't tell him to leave.
Mm,
So there's all these lies. She said that he disappeared. Then she admitted that she told him to leave in this truthful moment to Apollo in the few
mm,
episodes back, and now it turns out that's not even true, and that she
mm.
might have killed him. Um, so there's she basically ends up sort of scrabbling around on the floor in this hotel room, really kind of like not knowing what's real, what's not, and it's weird to know because it seems like at some point, like in this past, all that she basically hit Brian over the head, and then she'd run to this hotel for some reason to sort of like just drink and sort of like not maybe get her head together, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, or maybe she did it earlier because she could see that where it was going, sort of thing. And I think she mentioned that they split up, and then she had this job with this other arsehole who was trying
Yeah,
to get into her knickers, and she had to work Saturdays. He forced her to, and
yeah,
then I think then she sort of realised that Brian was turning up on a Saturday, and she thought, I can't have that. And then
yeah.
so maybe she went to the hotel to sort of have a little think and think,
But
what the fuck am I going to do? And maybe she came home at that point, and but then he was strangling him anyway, so she would have to kill
yeah,
him. So
so yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I read it. I mean, it is difficult to know,
mm,
and I think it's kind of interesting the way they've done it.
mm,
Um, but see, I got the impression that she basically killed Brian and then just panicked and just ran away and went to this hotel to get drunk. And then
mm,
she had this sort of because she's watching herself as a young girl. She's even talking to her, saying, this, it's going to be not going. It's going to be okay, but like you can do it. This is not
mm.
what you're not supposed to do. All this, so she becomes her own sort of like savior,
Yeah, yeah,
and we have this moment where she makes the promise. She makes the promise to Apollo is that with every molecule of my body, I will protect you or try and protect you or something.
mm,
So she sort of comes to a decision and gets her shit together and goes out and goes back, presumably going back to get rid of the body because there's something about you can put the body in the suitcase and throw it in the river or something. and I was like, that suitcase isn't very big
No.
for a grown man,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And at some point, I was like, well, is it for the baby? Did the baby actually drown? Because why would she just run away and leave the baby in the bath? So
Did she bring the body to did she bring the body to the hotel and let
I
him?
don't see how. Or
I
maybe, I don't know. Maybe
don't know. Yeah.
it just
Well,
didn't. I mean, you would see with the suitcase, it would be kind of heavy. It wasn't that big. It wasn't. It wasn't clear. I mean, it was difficult to, and I think
she's
that
only a
was it.
little woman as well. I can't see a
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't think I feeling she just kind of
You'd need a
bolted.
car.
Yeah, you need a car.
Yeah.
Um, I got the feeling she sort of bolted just to sort of like it was all too much, and then had this night where she's thinking things out, and then she decides, okay, I'm going to deal with this,
Mm.
and she's gonna, and she comes out into the morning sun after that hotel, and there's like she said for the first time she felt American because she said there's a possibility that things might get better, and that
Yeah.
is what she thinks being an American is, or something like that. I don't know. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But interestingly, then she sort of like she goes off into the day, and then we see like the hotel, presumably in the present day. Because again, it's weird now. The hotel is dilapidated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where's she been? Like it's
Is it a magical hotel?
yeah, it's all in her mind. But we see like something weird inscription scrawled on the table, which like didn't make any sense. But then we also see the register, the hotel register, and it
Yeah.
looks back and you see her name, and then underneath you see the name of her boss, Charles Blackwood. So she was at the hotel
Mm.
with the boss. Like
Yeah.
that's why she went there. So she had either succumbed to his advances or they were having an affair. So
Yeah.
presumably he guilt tripped her into it. So she lied about that as well. So she's got all this guilt, but and then of course that throws
Who's the
into
dad?
question who's the daddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean there's fucking loads going on, and it's really done. I mean I thought it was well done because it really did
I
almost seem
liked
like
it. Yeah, it
someone
was.
who's losing their
I,
mind.
I think you said that it was like a play, and it was pretty
Yeah, it
much.
was. Yeah.
It's pretty much her monologuing, and I think really does show off like her acting skills because she's a
She's
great
great. Yeah.
character and she's brilliant. Lovely face, really great face.
Lovely face.
Um, well,
Yeah.
she's so good with it. She moves it, and
Yeah.
it looks genuine.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah, I
she's
really liked it, and
yeah.
there was a lot of stuff there that you said that I'd missed, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again. I've seen it twice already, but
Yeah. I only watched it once, but like I mean, straight away I was really into that. I mean, I'm not, I was thinking about this. I'm not really much of a theatre guy, I
no,
tried going to the theatre a few times, but like I never quite get it, but I kind of like watching plays on the TV, I don't know. I think I get distracted by the audience who's sitting with me too much.
yeah, it's a bit of a
But
weird experience if you're not used to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it very much felt like that. It felt like a kind of New York off Broadway sort of play, like with a couple of people. You've basically got Brian playing two different parts. The guy who plays Brian playing two different parts. You've got the young and the old version of this woman, and it's all.
Mm,
I thought it was. I actually thought it was really good.
yeah.
However, it doesn't really advance the story that much,
No.
like the rest of the story. This is more sort of it's her guilt. It's her guilt, it's survivor's guilt, but also the guilt that she doesn't love her child enough. That and
I
she
think a lot of
openly
mums think that.
absolutely
Yeah,
yeah.
they
So
would think they're
that's my
never, they're not mum enough, but no
yeah
one's born,
exactly
no one's born with that, no one's brilliant at it. You just do the best you
yeah.
can, isn't it? So,
So
but
yeah, there was all of that, but also like her lying to herself as
yeah,
well. Because the whole it's only we find out at the end that turns out she had been having an affair with her boss for whatever
yeah,
reasons, and she just refused to talk. That didn't come up in the episode at all. So it's almost
no,
like she's so guilty about that. But like great big question mark right at the end.
yeah, yeah.
but I really thought it was really, really well done. I thought it was great. It's probably one of my favourite episodes of the whole thing. But it's
Yeah.
really kind of got not that much to do with the story.
No.
If it
No.
was about, if the whole thing was about, this is all kind of like, although it's done in a sort of magical realism sort of way, it's very much in reality. This is about psychology and stuff. But
Mm.
like the show is about fucking supernatural fucking monsters and shit. If it was all just in one person's mind, I could understand it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it hasn't really moved the story along, apart from me making like Lillian even more,
Yeah. Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah.
So and yeah, that's kind of how that episode ends. I
Yeah,
thought,
so we've only got one episode left now. So,
yeah. So what do you think is going to happen in the
uh,
next episode?
well, I think we'll go back to the island because we haven't seen Apollo for a bit yet. We haven't seen Apollo
Yeah,
for 2 episodes now.
yeah, no, that's true.
Uh, and also, I reckon
Eh,
those witches are going to be evil.
yeah, I'm kind of
Um,
sick of them. I think they're boring.
I don't know if Lillian's going to
Yeah,
turn up
I don't know. I mean, obviously, well, yeah, it's difficult
or
to know
maybe
now.
or
Yeah.
Emma. I don't know if Emma's going to turn up.
I mean, Emma's sort of looking for a fucking Norwegian maples, which is just
Mm,
the fucking most ridiculous thing for me to say. But like, that's the fucking, that's just like from a video game. Do you know what I mean? You've got to
yeah.
find your side quest to find your Norwegian maple, and
Well,
that'll lead you
she's got a twig, she got a clue, she's got a quest, didn't she? So, yeah.
to what? Yeah, and then Apollo's trying to figure out what's going on, but like quite clearly, those women aren't going to fucking tell him anything because they don't tell anyone
They're
anything.
shit.
We still don't really know what their fucking deal is, apart from they're exploiting. At least to me, it seems they're just exploiting these poor women.
Well, it seems like, I mean, like they
Yeah,
told Emma that they should be able to find her kid, so of course she goes, right, fine. This
and then they go, no, haha,
horrific journey, yeah, and then she ends up there, she gets thrown off a boat. That's the
does a lot of
sw-
rowing.
well, she does a lot of rowing. Yeah, but her sister throws her off the boat, so her sister's up to her neck in it.
Yeah,
And then she gets there and they're like, no, we don't know where your son is. I'd be like, what the fuck are you
yeah,
doing?
but
I'd
like,
want to kill that Karen.
I would.
Yeah,
She's fucking
absolutely.
bloody rubbish. We still don't really know what Wheeler's sort of deal is. I think it's Wheeler. I hope I'm getting that right. But the guy who bought the
William
book,
Wheeler, I think.
William
Yeah,
Wheeler. Yeah, still don't
yeah.
know what his deal is. But again, he was in the episode we just watched. He was in that twice.
Right. I
There
didn't
was a bit
recognise him. Isn't that weird?
because yeah, because right at the beginning, as she goes
Out
into
of
the hotel room,
context.
she looks through. She hears people talking constantly. There's other people
Yeah, he's
talking in the
beating up.
building.
Is he the one who's beating up the prostitute?
Yeah,
And
but he's in
yeah,
that. He's in before that. They see him sort of going
was
in.
that prostitute trans? Because they mentioned at the beginning that it was a trans person who's found dead. Oh no, because the hotel guy coming rescued sort of got hold of
Yeah,
him, didn't he? Yeah, so that wasn't the same.
yeah, no,
Um,
but it's kind of so, yeah. So I mean, but yeah, he's in it twice. So I thought that was interesting. But then at this point, because like, there's no way he could be the same age.
well, is
It,
this? I think he's like this evil thing
yeah,
because he
so
changed his face, didn't he, a couple of episodes ago, and he looked totally different,
yeah, he
sort
sounded
of.
different as well. So like, I mean, and I can't see how any reason why she would know him if this was all episode was mostly in her mind. Then how would
How
she
did
know
she
this
know?
guy? Like so. Unless it's all kind of representative, So I mean, it may very well be that the writers just thought we're going to totally fucking, take our wigs off. That's not an expression.
Take your
I don't
wig
know what I
off.
mean. Yeah, I'd like to
Take your
just
wig
go.
off.
Let's go crazy and let's just basically do a mad episode inside Lillian's head and get people from the rest of the show to play those characters. So sort of like, is he representing the underbelly of New York City? But that seemed a bit.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
buy
It
that.
could be.
So I
Yeah.
don't know,
Take your
and
wig off.
I still don't know the significance of the guy who died of AIDS. Who the fuck
Uh,
that was? Most of that seemed to be in her mind, but then it seemed quite a detailed memory of his wanting to see Lena
yeah.
Horne sing Stormy Weather. Like, where did that come from? Um, but then I think that was like, actually, she did mention sort of before, like in her childhood, she dreamed of sort of being a
A
singer or
singer.
something. So
That's
maybe
right.
it's all just sort of her fantasy. I
Mm.
mean, um,
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one. So I mean, I thought it was really interesting, but like it's just very very confusing. But it did seem like a kind of a decent play. If I watched that on a play thing, I'd be like kind of intrigued by all that.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, very intriguing. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to watch it again because there's quite a lot I missed.
Mm.
So I think I was kind of really concentrating on her.
Yeah.
So all this other stuff with the prostitute and the guy dying and everything, I was so yeah, which is probably a testament to her acting as well.
Yeah,
Um,
she's really great. Like
yeah,
really, really great. I've seen her in a few other things as well, but I can't quite remember them now.
yeah,
But she's like really, really good.
mm,
A really great character, sort of really,
really
you know,
fleshed out. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you got a complete insight into her sort of mind there, which is just basically keep going.
yeah.
Despite how terrible everything is, you just got to keep going. And she had this moment where she almost didn't, you
Mm,
know, um, despite everything. So I thought it was really good.
yeah,
But
I
I
did.
fuck knows what a lot of it means.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it again and see if I get any more clues,
Mm,
they might give us some in the last. It's gonna. We've only got an hour to do stuff, so
yeah.
anyway, well, we might get a few things answered in the next episode, hopefully.
Probably
But
see Apollo and Emma back reunited, maybe,
maybe,
or at least
yeah,
he's gonna maybe get hot on her trail.
yeah.
You know, but ugh, I mean, we still don't. I still have no idea like
I'll be
why
glad to
why was
see
their
the end of
baby.
those witches. To be honest, I don't
Yeah, me
like them.
too.
Uh,
Yeah, probably Wheeler will kill them or something. But I mean, that's not going to happen because they're all women. They're not going to die.
no.
But like, do you know what I mean?
I mean, some of the other women look quite nice, but the one in charge, I just don't. And the two weird twin women, yeah, the one that beat up Apollo when they first got there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't like them. So,
it's like almost like they're
yeah,
recruiting these women for the entity, whatever it is, to steal their babies. Like they're in on it.
maybe, yeah,
I don't, and to maybe give them false hope
yeah,
because they live on hope or something. I don't know. This could be all kinds of shit.
yeah.
But like, if it's a fucking turns out that the evil entity is a sort of tree monster that steals babies to eat their dreams or something, I'm going to be a bit pissed.
Hmm.
Like, do you know what I
I
mean?
don't think it'll be that simple. Yeah.
No, I don't know. We still don't know the significance of the sorceress in Brazil. We
Mm.
still don't know what her last wish
Oh, and the
was.
bracelet breaking and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, there's loads going on. Yeah, yeah,
So
mm,
so yeah, we'll see. I feel sorry for Apollo really because like he
yeah.
already had the revelations that his dad didn't, he didn't disappear. That his mum kicked him out. Now he might find out that she actually killed him.
Well, she threw
Or
this.
again,
She threw the
yeah,
case in the river, but obviously that's going to turn up again.
yeah. I mean, it sort of implied that she was, you know, going to put the body in the case of Brian,
Yeah, I
her
don't know
husband.
what.
But the case didn't seem that big. Uh,
Wonder
um,
if she slept with a boss to get his help moving the body.
I don't know. I don't think he would have done it.
Maybe
But
the
then
sex was
I don't
payment
know.
for it. I don't know. I
Or
don't know.
maybe, or maybe she just like wanted an affair because Brian was being an arsehole. Like
Maybe he
I
did
don't
seem.
know.
He was going to take her out and stuff, and
But it
you
seems weird
know,
that she kept the receipt. Implying that she sort of paid for it. I don't know.
yeah, it's a bit.
You wouldn't
Yeah,
keep it though, would you? Why would you need a receipt? Like, why would you need it? Why would you? Oh, just in case.
you get the receipt
What
when
would
you
you need
check
it for?
out. The
Yeah.
guy said.
Unless it's just one of those things that people do, like, even though they regret something, they still want to sort of hold on to their memory. But it's fucking weird.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Hopefully, maybe we'll find out.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. It was
I thought
good.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. It was sort of much better than the last two episodes, which sort of the shit with Emma rowing 18 times across the fucking New York River, whatever it's called. What is the river in New York? I can't
I
be
don't
bothered to Google
know. I
it.
probably should look it up, but
Yeah, I want to
yeah.
say the Hudson, but I don't know if that's correct.
Oh, I
Yeah, I'm
don't.
not gonna. I'm not
I,
gonna. I just can't be bothered to Google it either. Even though how easy that is. Alexa, What's the nearest river to New York City?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, on the west side of Manhattan, separating NYC from New Jersey, is the Hudson River.
It's the Hudson River.
Oh, well done. Yeah. Ah,
Yeah.
Actually, the westernmost part of Long Island.
Yeah.
Is the
she's still
Honestly-
talking.
both rivers and
Yeah,
mostly
I know. It's kind of like throwing
Keep
me
your
off
wig
now.
on.
Keep your wig on, Alexa. Alexa, shut up. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, yeah, there we go. The Hudson. That is completely immaterial.
Yeah.
But, there we go.
Yeah. Well, should leave it there then.
It seems like quite a big river. It seems like quite a sizable river to row across like 18 times.
It looks miles.
It wasn't 18,
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do one.
I think if you jump in there, or your sister turfs you over the edge of a boat, you'd be in quite a bit of trouble, actually.
It's a big city around those areas. I mean, if it's anything like the Thames in London, like you don't want to be in there for 5 minutes. You certainly don't want to drink any of that water.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
You'd be fucking
it's almost
sick.
instant death. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be very, very sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there we go. It's the movies. Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was really good.
Looking forward to the end. So we're coming to the end of that show, so we need something else to watch.
Yeah.
Please give us some suggestions.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going to see The Creator.
Oh yeah. I want to see that.
See some sci-fi. That'd be good to have a look at. Just finished One Piece. That was excellent. Yeah, but yeah, let us know.
Yeah. All right then.
Cool. All right then.
See you later.
See you later then. Bye.
Bye.